Welcome back, everybody. With conferences this week, we've had a little bit of a hectic schedule, so I did not get a chance to make some muffins. So instead, we're replacing with some school donuts. So today is donuts with Dr. Nardini, and our special guest today is Mr. Doug Yunker as well, who is in his third year, as our high school social studies teacher, and we're glad to have you here. So let's enjoy some donuts and ask some questions.
I do feel a little bit slighted that I didn't get muffins.
I'll get you some muffins next time. So
All right.
Perfect. Well, let's get started.
Okay.
Okay, so first question, Mr. Yunker, you're our American history teacher,
Yep.
and a very knowledgeable man about American history as well. So what do you feel like is the most important moment in American history?
Well, I think that is kind of changing throughout time. I mean, if you go back, if you would ask somebody, maybe 200 years ago or even 150 years ago, what that, they would obviously say the Revolution, and then if you got around the year 1900, they'd probably say the Civil War. And then, people of, like my dad's generation might consider World War II the greatest moment in American history. So it's really kind of subjective to how you personally view the world, but I always look at the United States as being divided into two halves of history. You have from the Revolution to the Civil War, and the Civil War really just kind of restructured American society, American government, and really helped define what our country would look like going forward. So I think the pivotal moment for me will always be the Civil War. Plus, I think that period of history is just fascinating to study and learn about. So,
Kind of a very cool time in history, one of the unique
Yes.
things about
Yeah.
our country. So do you feel like we're living in the most exciting time in American history?
no, I do not. I think we're living in one of the more confused time in American history. I think maybe 30 or 40 years from now, like our kids will look back and say, geez, it was nuts in the 2020s and teens or whatever. It's just a lot of crazy stuff between COVID and, all the different events going around in the world. I think it's just confusing is what it is.
That sounds right. So, okay, second question is, there's not a lot of people in the school building that makes me feel like kind of a small person. And you're one of them. So what is the biggest benefit of being tall?
As you get older, not much. When you're younger, everybody looks up to you, and it's like people automatically, notice you because you're taller. But as you get older, it's kind of a disadvantage. I mean, clothes are harder to find. Things are just harder to do. I mean, anyway, maybe I'm just feeling sorry for myself, but I'm not in the best of shape anymore. So, being 6 inches taller than everybody else just makes it a little bit more difficult.
But you can always reach the stuff on the top shelf.
I can always reach stuff on the top shelf, but everybody in my family can at this point, except for Addison, so they don't really need me for that either. So
You got one left, though.
I got one left.
That still relies on you.
Yeah.
So, all right. A unique thing that I learned about you, actually, I think this past summer, was that you spent a couple years in the Air Force as well.
Yeah, I was in the Air Force from 1996 until 2000. And kind of an interesting part about that with my wife and I's history, like we dated for a while, we got engaged, and then I went, right after we got engaged, I went to basic training and my tech school. So we actually went like 9 months without physically seeing each other. And I got leave over Christmas and I went home. We saw each other for like 2 days and then we got married. So it was almost kind of a weird feeling, because like you married somebody you hadn't physically seen in 9 months. So it almost felt like it was arranged or something. But obviously it's worked out right to pick the right woman. But anyway, I loved being in the Air Force. Really good experience, gave me a chance to grow up. We weren't married at the time, or we were married. We didn't have kids at the time, so we had lots of free time to go out and dates and go to movies and go out to eat at restaurants and travel the country, and it was just a really good experience.
Oh, there you go. So what's the biggest similarity you notice between your time in the Air Force and your time now as a teacher?
Well, I'm not sure that the two really compare. But what I've learned in life, irregardless of what you do, what you're in, if it's in the military, if it's in education, if it's in construction, what really defines how much you enjoy it is the people you surround yourself with. And I think I've been blessed everywhere I've been, whether it's in the Air Force or working construction or at Vintage Park or the Current Academy or here. there seems to be abundance of really good people, and that makes your time a lot easier to manage and deal with. So I thoroughly enjoy being here, but yeah, life is kind of what you make. You have a positive attitude and treat people well, usually you get the same back. So
Very well said. That sums up that very well. So you've had two stints as a teacher, and took a little break in between at the academy, and then did you go straight to Vintage Park after the academy?
no, I got out of college. Like I said, I graduated in 2003. That was my first teaching job. I only taught for a year, and then I was promoted. I ran the education department. And then when the academy stopped being a place where people wanted to work, I kind of started looking for a way out. And then I ended up, like I said, I worked with my brother-in-law, Don Cox, and doing some construction for a couple years, and then we relocated to South Dakota. I thought I was going to teach there, but given the fact that I have a master's, it was difficult to get hired as a teacher because they were going to have to pay so much more. So I just worked construction and then moved back here in 2015 and managed Vintage Park prior to starting teaching here in about, this is my third year. So
What made you want to come back?
I've always loved teaching. Dealing with kids, and it gives you an opportunity to act immature and be young, Yeah.
Feel young again. Perfect. So speaking of being young, kind of one of the things that I always notice is that you love to joke around with the kids. You love to just be kind of goofy, kind of silly. So what's your best dad joke, or what's the best thing that you do to mess with your children as well?
My own children?
Yeah.
Oh, I think at this point my children have built up an extreme level of tolerance for my stupidity. So it's like I don't shock them anymore with anything funny, and I really don't have any standard dad jokes. I think just having me for a dad is probably strange enough experience as it is. I don't really want to add to it by trying to do manufactured jokes.
Well, there you go. Well, when they go off to college and they go off their own ways, they'll be well prepared because of all the spontaneous.
Yeah, I just, you wonder, like, you have memories of your own father from growing up, and sure, so do I. I just wonder what my kids are going to look back and think, holy cow, my dad was probably insane. But anyway, we try to have fun.
Oh yeah. So that leads into my next question. I mean, you got Owen, you got Ava, you got Addie, and of course your wife Cindy and you. So what's one of your favorite moments as a family of five?
We don't have the resources to live a real extravagant life. We've taken a couple nice vacations. Those were nice, Montana and California. But like I said, I mean, going back to when I talked about going to the Air Force, the biggest thing that I was blessed with in my life is I picked the right woman to start a family with, and Cindy's did a great job with those kids. She stayed at home with them when I was working when they were young, and I just feel blessed that we got a pretty tight knit family, and just about every week is filled with some sort of experience that is good. I mean, and obviously there's bumps in the road, but I just feel really blessed. I can't pinpoint one thing that's the best family of five moment other than just being a family of five,
Life's what you make of it.
Yeah.
You've made a good one. So.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, Mr. Younger, it's been a pleasure having you as well. A man of very elegant words as well, and we're happy to have you as part of our team. So thank you for coming in and answering some questions, and enjoy yourself a donut with Dr. Nardini.
I'll pass.
I will enjoy it.
A good doctor wouldn't recommend anybody eat a donut, but anyway.
9 out of 10, but I'm the 1 out of 10. So, all right.
All right, thanks
Thank you guys. Have a good week.